Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Talking to Myself, the part of the day where I talk to myself about things that I was thinking the night before. Shout out, of course, to all 600 and I didn't check the number. Let's say 630 subscribers at the time of me making this video. I truly do appreciate it. As well as shout out to Saratoga Peanut Butter. Shout out to Lotus Flame Candle Company, and of course shout out to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day. Also shout out to the winner of the giveaway that I had from last week. At the end of my videos, at times I actually put in there like, hey, I'm just looking at giving away something. So if you're still watching this, put this thing down in the comments, and people actually put those things down in the comments. So I think I've given away like some Tiffin Black Pro Mist and ND filters. I've given away some 120 film. I attempted to give away a Peak Design bag, but no one caught that one. And then most recently I'm giving away a 35 1.2, and I put it into a little web generator where you put all the names and it puts them on a spinny Wheel of Fortune style, and it goes, and the winner of that was, and actually I put Daniel instead of Daniel in a last name, and so there are two Daniels, and I didn't think of that because there were 22 people that did that, because some people messaged me on Instagram and said, hey, could I be put in? And now I'm wondering if, anyway, it doesn't matter because it wasn't the same person. But Daniel Arkai. So Daniel Arkai, shout out and congratulations. I'll send you that 35 1.2. If you have me on Instagram, that's great. Send me a message. If you don't, go to Instagram. You don't have to follow me to message me. I'll just approve it. So if you're Daniel Arkai, I'll put the comment up, that way you know it's you, and I guess just prove that you put it. I don't know how to do that, but just prove that you're the Daniel I'm talking about, and I'll go ahead and I'll send you this 35 1.2. So congratulations on that. Next time I have a giveaway, I again won't let any of you guys know, but there's something else that I'm looking at giving, just because I'm not using it as much, because I've fallen back in love with some other things. So shout out for that. Mother's Day weekend was great. It's a fantastic time. For those of y'all that follow me on Instagram, you see that I've already put some of my some photos up. Not all of them though. I like to put just a few things up. Shout out to, again, dude, the Light Touch. This Nikon Light Touch is banging. I really, man, I can't say enough about this thing. And it really makes the whole getting an Olympus XA2, it kind of makes it like a cherry on top, because I just have a feeling that'll be my backup. So I'm going to go develop the two rolls of film I have on this. I've shot an Ektar 100 and Ilford HP5 at 400 at 400 speed, of course. And I have in here a roll of Portra 160. Again, I prefer Portra 160, and that has to do with just a lot of trial and error amongst the years. I just like 160 because a lot of times I'm shooting this thing in daylight. But yeah, or outside. So yeah, this camera was fantastic. It was amazing. It was nice to keep around. Everyone was smiling. They didn't fret with me having this camera out. I was able to talk to people, and they weren't like posing or anything. It's just fantastic. Even more, the greatest part about this was I got to give this, I told my grandma, like, hey, I've got 6 more shots. Can you finish up this roll for me while I'm taking photos of everyone else? And so my grandma, y'all, she got in game mode. She put this in front of her eyes. She took some photos of me. She's getting on a knee. My grandma is 78 years old. She's getting on one knee. She's getting a G stance, and y'all know what I mean by G stance, when she squats down to take photos of her grandchildren. I mean, it was fantastic. She really did enjoy it. So it just brought me back to the fact she was the woman who was married to my grandfather, who actually got me into photography and taught me some things and had me shoot my first shots and all that whatnot. So I'm guessing she knows her way a little bit, or she's taken some photos too with all the trunk of family photos that we have. So, but this is just a great camera, and I'm telling you guys, if you guys have been thinking about, you know what, I would like a point and shoot film camera, and you want to jump in somewhere, I would really recommend jumping in with over the XA2, even though I haven't really gotten to shoot with it. I do have one with me. I'm sending it back today once I receive the correct version, and I'll send it back. But I do have one in hand. The feel, the look, the controls, and everything like that. Listen, if you've never shot film, I know that the XA2's titled as a point and shoot, but it's not necessarily a point and shoot any of the XA line, considering, except for the XA1, which I kind of still wish that I would have gotten the XA1 or the XA2 and the XA, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, the XA1 is fantastic if you just want literally a point and shoot experience. But As far as the XA, XA2, XA3, and XA4, it's not so much a point and shoot experience completely because you still have some control. And if you're nervous about that, or if you don't want to really, you just want to literally take the camera out and shoot, this is the option. I'm telling you right now. Jason Kiefer, thank you so much for telling me about this camera, because I can't tell you enough how much I've enjoyed using this, how great it's been in a pinch, how the places I've taken photos with this thing. The controls are easy. It's super duper light. It's smaller and lighter than the XA. The autofocus, I'm sure, is going to be fantastic. I'm hoping these rolls come back great. But the thing that's even better than this, or even better than, like basically the size and all the benefits and the autofocus and whatnot, is the fact that the flash is built in. And that's where it stands out, because the auto flash on here, it knows well when to use it. And even inside, in situations where I thought the flash might come on, didn't come on, and I'm excited to see what it looks like because it was a bright area indoors. But even then, when it did come on, I feel like it came on in the correct times when I want to use it. And then it's just a button press away from turning off the flash every time. So again, I'm digging this camera a lot. I can't wait to put this or the other camera, the XA2, in my fiance's hand, and us just be able to take photos and just start collecting these photos that we can share with with our kids and things like that in our family whenever we start building a family. And so I'm loving this camera. This thing is fantastic. I can't say enough good things about the Nikon Light Touch AF. I would probably myself, just telling you guys, I know the XA, I know Olympus and the XA and the XA2 and all that stuff is getting a lot of hype. This to me deserves more hype. I mean, just being honest, from use of point and shoots in the past, this has probably been the funnest, probably been the best point and shoot I've used, just because of ease of use and the size. And I mean, I've used point and shoots. I've used a Kyocera point and shoot. I've used I think it's a Canon, not the Auto Boy. There have been quite a few point and shoots that have been passed down in my family. This has been the best one and the best experience, especially with everything built in and how small and light it is. I think this is a great deal. So shout out to that. Also, shout out to the 35 1.4. I was shooting photos, of course. I went down to visit family, and so it was Mother's Day, and then my little sister had a birthday, so I got to shoot some photos while I was there. Just a family, and that's my thing. I love doing that. And the 50mm 1.4, of course, comes in clutch, especially in low light. The fact that I can just pop that thing on and don't have to worry about, am I not gonna have enough speed in this lens? It's always great to know that. So the 51.4 we're recording on, just shines in every single opportunity that it has. The photos are crisp, they're clean. It's just a great lens. And then whenever I was shooting portraits of family, there were some lighting situations and where they want to shoot and where we want to shoot and things like that. And basically those photos are going to have to be turned to black and white for the simple fact that the lighting and the contrast is very drastic. And also, I don't know if you guys ever get this, but because I wear glasses, sometimes the sun hits and it makes a glare in my glasses, and I always ignore it. But there are times where I ignore it and I think that a highlighted spot on the viewfinder is from my glasses, and it actually turns out to be a blown out spot. And so I overexpose for some of the photos. And when I tell you I overexpose badly, I mean, it's like this isn't a save it kind of bad. Like, it was really bad. And it's always on the right side of the screen, where the overexposed spot is, or the overexposed arm or something like that. And of course the sun's coming in and I thought it was a glare. So those are gonna be black and white photos, which thank God for black and white. You guys know exactly what I mean when you miss a shot and it's overexposed, but you like it and you're like, all right, black and white it is. So luckily those are gonna be black and white. I didn't really take many street or step outside and take many environmental portraits while I was there, because I was using this thing. But the 18f2, man, I'm telling you, 28mm focal length, whenever we're coming back and we're driving through places like Tarzan and Andrews, Texas, and Menard and San Angelo and places like that, Junction, Brady, all these places, this lens is just fantastic. Be able to step out, pop out, get everything in shot, shoot it. There's not a whole bunch of distortion and warp. Being able to get up pretty close, like I'm telling you, wider than the 35, so I'm able to get close, not have to stand in the street or anything like that. Get these shots whenever it's busy. I mean, this is a banging lens, man. I can't tell you enough. The photos are crisp, they're clean, the contrast is great. You know, if I have an issue with a shot, it's because the way I composed it. But I mean, everything in the detail you're getting in this lens is fantastic. Of course, we've got a Tiffin Black Pro Mist filter on there, and that is specifically just because that is something that I prefer. If I was to take this filter off, I'd even have sharper and crisper shots. And so, you know, the 18mm f2, again, to me, I know the 1.4 came out, I know it's a big deal, but having this on the body and it being so small and light, and by the way, it just looks so damn good. It just looks so damn good on the body. The 18mm f2, because it doesn't stick out too far with this lens head, just looks so damn good. I mean, to think that it comes with it and you don't have to go to square hood, it's just a good looking setup. I mean, it had the leather case on there, and it looks even better without the leather case with this lens. I mean, honestly, it just looks so damn good. I can't tell you enough about this. I'm all for this right here. Okay, this is a banging lens. So, yeah. So shout out to the 18mm f2. I'll put these photos up. These photos are gonna probably be up while I'm talking. But you know, I just love what this thing does. People talk about, oh, it's got some distortion, or oh, you know, it's got some vignetting, and you know, yeah, it does. And what will you do about it? Are you just going to process? What are you going to do about it? It has distortion and vignetting. Are you just gonna like not use the lens, or are you just gonna correct it in post like every other sane person does? You know, sometimes, you know, there are times when discussing the optics just becomes kind of like, nah, it's whatever, you know. And I can't cyberbully anymore, because then my video gets flagged for inappropriate content and bullying, and then, you know, I get a potential strike against me. But I'm just saying, like, don't be a bitch about it. Like, don't be a bitch about lenses and things like that. Like, you're gonna have something wrong with every lens. I can pick apart that Sony, you know, 50mm 1.2 lens. You know, Gerald Undone was able to pick apart that new 14mm Sony lens. Like, there's something wrong with every lens. Period. There's no such thing as a perfect, foolproof, magnificent edge to there's nothing like that lens that everyone pretends like they want, and you don't want that lens. I mean, honestly, if you want that lens and you're not shooting nothing but Zeiss lenses for the Sony E-mount, then I don't know what to tell you, because those Zeiss lenses on Sony E-mount are probably the lenses you're talking about. That 55 1 point whatever is probably the GOAT lens. But you know, for those of us that just like shooting and we appreciate you know, the art, and we don't really care about the specs too much, and you know, we just you know, we focus on our composition and telling a story, and not pixel peeping and not zooming in 2000%, and you know, we don't really, you know, have anything to be negative about, because we're appreciative of what we have. And you know, we go home to our significant others, her or him, and you know, we tell them that, you know, our life's pretty awesome, we feel fulfilled, and there's no deep dark void in our heart where we maybe didn't get hugged enough as a kid, so we have to shit on lenses and pretend like we know everything on Reddit. Those of us who don't do that, we appreciate lenses like the 18f2, and we don't have to shit on them, especially if we've never shot with the lens. So shout out to all of you that still talk shit about the 18f2 and be like, I could never buy that lens or use it because of this, and this. And it's just always the funniest thing. There's two things that always pop up on the channel, and they're comments that I always just like, they end up getting deleted. It's the people that say, I would never buy this lens and have never bought this lens because it has this, and this issue. And of course, that means they've never shot with this lens. They literally watched one video from 2000 and maybe 16 where someone who's fucking insignificant as shit said some shit about this lens, but now if you watch them now, that, oh, you know what, this is an underrated lens, the 18f2. Go shut the fuck up. Or they're the people who say, I own this lens, I would like some sample, but I wish you would have given sample images so I could understand what you're talking about. And it's like, bitch, you own the fucking lens. You literally are the sample image taker that you've been needing. So I can't tell you enough, man. The 18f2, if you have a Fujifilm interchangeable lens system, Okay, meaning you have anything but the X100 or X70 or X10, 20, 30, like any of those lines and things like that. I think that's all of them. The 18f2 is a lens that you have to at least own once, so that whenever you sell it, you're eventually going to buy it back again. This is a GOAT lens. 35 1.4 is the other lens that even when the 33 1.4 comes out, I can't imagine. I just can't imagine that people will. I'm telling you, if it replicates the 35 1.4, that'll be amazing. And I'm talking about an image quality. I know it's gonna have weatherproofing and things like that, but come on, dude. Like, to be honest with you, let's be honest here, buddy. How often are you shooting in the rain? Okay, you hobbyist, even professional people shooting professional, especially like portraits and weddings and shit. How often do you shoot in the rain? That's a sincere question. Unless you're maybe in Ben Heish, like he's the only person that I would probably suspect is maybe shot in the rain. But that's why he carries an EOS R6. By the way, I remember every single time that in one of my there's a certain Leica video I made where I talked about like every single person that shoots Leica supplements their Leica cameras, like for the Leica M bodies. They basically have to carry some other kind of digital body for the autofocus in order to shoot weddings. And everyone's like, no, Ben Heish, this person, no one does that. Like, I know a whole bunch. And Ben then posts the fact that he, and I already knew, so I didn't say anything because I knew that Ben Heish he said at one point he uses Fuji film, and that now he uses Canon. I already knew Ben had an R5 or an R6. Then he posted this like 2 weeks ago, a photo of like, oh, here's what I'm using for my weddings, and it like he had the 85 millimeter, I think, on his R6 or R5, basically for his telephoto shots and stuff like that. And the comments on that where people were fucking surprised that Ben Heish did not shoot completely just nothing but Leica for weddings was the craziest shit that I've ever seen. So I don't even know if he has that still up, but there were some people very, very down at the bottom that were pretty angry. But again, I don't even know why I said that, but because I think I was talking about cameras, autofocus, lenses, 35 1.4, 33. It doesn't matter. Basically, I just got on tangent because I got another one of those comments yesterday where someone's like, Leica owners we don't need to supplement. Leica has a whole bunch of glass or lenses, and it's the easiest system to focus on, period. But anyway, most accurate system. But yeah, man, the 18f2 is a great lens. 35 1.4 is a great lens. If the 33 1.4 could replicate the look and the feel and the character of a 35 1.4, it'd be a fantastic looking lens because of WR. But at the same time, this is what I was talking about. How many of you even use weather resistance? And that's one thing you have to figure out is how often have you used weather resistance? How often have you shot in the rain? And if right now you've shot for more than 5 years and it's less than 5 times, I'm just telling you right now, it should not never be really, it doesn't need to be that high of a priority. Whenever it comes to lens dust and things like that getting in there, dirt and grime and everything, you look at these vintage lenses that were probably owned and used by someone else and how a lot of them say dust free or this free, this free. There might be a reason. It's because, it's kind of hard for certain things to get in there and affect the image. And even more, especially now with the way things are built, it's going to be a little bit harder to affect the image on lenses like this. Just make sure to blow out your lenses, blow out your back caps, and make sure to every once in a while, by the way, clean these with a Zeiss wipe because fungus can grow back here, which can get into your lens. Just a word from the wise, especially if you live in a humid area or if you live in an area, I guess it'd still be humid around salt water. Just a quick tip there. It is known you should probably clean the back of these so it doesn't get dirty. And yeah, so that's basically it, man. I'm telling you right now, shooting photos of family is fun. It's great. The 18f2, the 35 1.4 were banging. It was fantastic. This camera right here is a GOAT camera. I'm excited about the Olympus XA2 to come so that I can feel that and, just prepare to use that one a little bit. I mean, these are just great cameras. Their point and shoots are fun. At this point for film cameras, I don't really have the need or the desire to shoot with a regular body SLR or rangefinder or 35 millimeter or 120 film camera. I don't. But a point and shoot film camera or a point and shoot 120 film camera like the Fuji 645 AW-GXYZ LMNOP, you know, that's, you know, those are things that I like now, because at this point in life, man, you know, I kind of like the convenience of just pop, shoot. I mean, I'm not trying to impress anyone by nailing focus. That's one thing that I just really want everyone to know, is I'm just not, you know, when you're shooting a lot of this stuff, are you trying to impress people with the focus you're nailing? I mean, I'm point and shoot all day, baby. I'm autofocus all day. I'm not trying to impress anyone with the fact I can nail focus. I mean, that'd be like, you know, everyone starts getting, you know, electric cars in 20 years, and you're holding on to, you know, what do racers drive? Like a 92 Civic, and you're bragging that you can change oil. And it's like, you know, it doesn't really fucking matter, considering your car is not as, can't drive as long, and, you know, it kind of breaks down more than everyone else's. It's that kind of thing. So yeah, shout out to everyone that shoots film. Congratulations to you. I like your shots, but, you know, just so you guys know, if you don't shoot film, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, because film's not dead, which is good. Keep film alive, but at the same time, there's not really anything much better over film than digital. So if you ever thought like, man, should I be shooting film? Would that help my creativity? Or does that help? It doesn't really. Not really. It's just fun. I mean, it's just nice and fun. Point and shoot, it's fun. I could have done this with my, you know, X100T, but at the same time, the reason why I'm doing it this is simply for the fact that I'm kind of excited about taking the rolls, having them process, getting them back, and be like, oh, I forgot I took this shot. Same thing. So now these are more of a special moment kind of cameras. But that's it, man. Buy the 18F2. I think you'd like it. Buy the 35 1.4. I think you'd like it. Buy the Nikon Light Touch AF over the Olympus XA2. I think you'd like it. And drink your smoothies. Shout out to Anthony Davis and the Lakers, who we finessed ourselves into the 7 seed, which was, of course, intentional. If you listen to any post-game Laker interviews from Montrezl Harrell and AD over the past 2 months, and you would see that the plan was always to play the Phoenix Suns and knock them out in round 1. Of course, win the play-in game. But when Phoenix jumped to number 2, we would knock Phoenix out in round 1, which means we would get Utah to be able to knock them out round 2, of course, with Donovan Mitchell. You know, and no one's really afraid of Gobert. You know, both those guys. That's going to be easy. And that way we can play the Clippers if they don't choke against the Mavericks or the Portland Trailblazers. Also, shout out to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Listen, I know it's a slump, and I know we miss Kike Hernandez. And Kike, anytime you want to come back and you know, demand a trade from the Red Sox, that's cool. But yeah, we're sucking. Bellinger's hurt. You know, we got like 4 pitchers on the IR. We lost Dustin May. It's fine. It is what it is. And shout out to the Detroit Lions, baby. We can definitely get to 7-9 this year. If we get to 8-8, I might shave this bald spot in my chest and get Detroit and Coach Dan Campbell's face right here. So shout out to all that. I like sports, you guys, and guns, and photography, and you. Have a good one.